Hello, I'm recording this on October 15th, 2025, and that means two things. Hey, the Darkness News Update has its own Blue Sky feed. You can follow us there if you are at all interested in doing that. But otherwise, it is time for the Darkness News Update, brought to you by the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors, home of lighting distributors that actually care about doing their jobs well. We just had a big convention where we affirmed that in a lot of different ways, and that includes respecting everyone with our use of light at night. You can visit nailed.org for more, and you can also visit restoringdarkness.com for all the links to everything I'm about to talk about, because the news is a bit light this week, but let's get into it. We have a new metric for sky glow. This is a new method that combines the all-weather and all-sky indices, I suppose, the D-Light method, and the simplified radiosity algorithm. And this metric might better describe more factors in terms of sky quality if adopted. The U.S. is on track for the lowest murder rate ever in the history of the U.S. Just nationally, per capita, murders are down. No one killing anybody right now. And did lighting help with that? Maybe. Crime stats are very complicated, and it's very hard to tell if street lighting or exterior wall packs or motion sensors did anything about it. Speaking of complicated, we have 10 miles of the California-Mexico border is going to have more fence and lighting structure on it than previously. This is near San Diego. It is going ahead on schedule despite the current shutdown. And yes, the Department of Homeland Security did waive 25 laws to rush this into construction. Some of those include the National Environmental Protection Act, the Migratory Bird Act, and the Migratory Bird Treaty. We have a new study that calls for more interest in non-cognitive symptoms of Alzheimer's, including circadian disruption. There is a lot of data to indicate that tracking all these early indicators of neurodegenerative disease is easier, cheaper, and perhaps more reliable than cognitive tests, and that we need to take more time to take care of people as they get older. Alan, light at night, has been linked with obesity in children and teens in China. This is a study of 628 teens in Shanghai that showed that they had higher BMI, a dubious metric, but also lower activity levels as light at night increased in their life. We also have another study of Shanghai teens, specifically 54,000 eighth grade students in Shanghai, that showed that their sleep duration was linked to their scores on standardized tests, which is to say that their average sleep duration, if it dropped below 8 hours a night, their scores on these standardized tests would falter and fail. Not necessarily fail, just drop some letter grades, really. The University of Massachusetts at Amherst has determined that snail proteins have circadian rhythms. Snail is an acronym that is very hard for me to say. Link in the show notes for details on that. I'm not going to try this one, sorry. But this is a protein in a human body, that helps with cancer protections, and that protein reacts to circadian stimulus, which is to say that a well-entrained circadian rhythm can prevent cancer a little bit better. Again, cancer, very complicated. Don't always know how that's going to work. We have a study from Harvard Medical School and Boston University that shows that self-reported insomnia is linked with self-reported cognitive impairment. This study is calling for more objective measures of both of those things to see how they relate, because it probably has something to do with that Alzheimer's study I mentioned 2 minutes ago, actually. Because, yeah, it turns out that, again, sleep quality is great for life quality. We have a new study that shows that circadian regulation is linked with the Epstein-Barr virus in fruit flies. This is a viral infection related to herpes, and when fruit flies have it, it changes their circadian rhythm, which probably carries up to larger animals. We'll see if this study generates more research in a way that affects mammals. We have a new document for assessing marine protected areas. This is a new document and guidance from Salvador Barra and Fabio Falci that hopes to improve how we assess shorelines for lighting use. We have a meta-study showing that frogs are struggling under light pollution, and this study, published recently, covers exactly how light pollution affects different frogs in different ways. It's based on a bunch of different data sets. Light pollution is leading to home invasions by ladybugs. If you light your house too bright, the ladybugs will find their way in. And there are some useful advice for people if they want to avoid that. Light at night has been linked with slower leaf aging in lacewood. They've determined that street lighting keeps lacewood plants growing longer and later into the season. On the dark side of things, we have 2 softball fields in Apache Junction, Arizona, earning recognition from Dark Sky International. Both Prospector Park and Superstition Shadows Park are recognized by Dark Sky International under their sports field lighting program for their efforts to shield, control, and otherwise mitigate light pollution from, just the field lights, because we can do that. It's a good thing when we try things. In Palmer Lake, Colorado, a proposed Buc-ee's gas station expansion has been deferred to a special election. Yeah, the town council has kicked the buck. They've kicked the buck up to the next election, specifically a public referendum to determine if, again, the amount of light from this gas station / general store / fast food location would be bad for everyone. Gotta love democracy. It's the only thing we got. In Texas, the Kay Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center is undergoing renovations to the tune of $3 billion. And local bird advocates are hoping that those $3 billion might be spent on lighting that protects birds from hitting the side of it during migration season. Because it is still migration season and we are still raising awareness about the hazards of light pollution as birds move south for the winter. Speaking of, the Detroit Zoo has cut off the uplighting to their water tower for the birds in the hope of raising awareness throughout Detroit about doing the same. Speaking of doing the same, the Louisiana Wildlife Federation is promoting lights out for the season. Bird groups in Wisconsin are calling for lights out as well, as is going ahead in Washington. In Missouri, the Audubon Society is specifically targeting people who own buildings with a lot of windows, but again, awareness building all the same. In Idaho, their Dark Sky Alliance is seeking funds to support their new observatory. They are already building a home for a 14-inch telescope, but they are hoping to raise about $200,000 for better light fixtures in the surrounding region. This is the Central Idaho Dark Sky Preserve. It's pretty big, but it could always be better. And hey, they're already $50,000 towards that goal, which is pretty rad, actually. In Quinte, Ontario, they are debating pursuing a Dark Sky Preserve status. The Prince Edward County Council has met with the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada about securing that, and it's a pretty good region for it. It's very parky. There's a lot of provincial parks. They could probably manage it. I'm saying this based on purely my local tourism interests. In Georgia, the town of Gwinnett, police cruisers will be running their blue lights, their flashers, their spinners, all night long, all the time, even if it's not an emergency, even if they're not really on call. This is, of course, supposed to be a deterrent to crime and also to make the cruisers more visible as police cruisers tend to be involved in traffic accidents more often than other vehicles for some reason. There is no evidence that running your flashers all night does anything to affect crime rates, by the way. In Kingsborough, North Carolina, town council has debated expanding light and noise pollution regulations to data centers because the land in the area is valuable to data center operators. And despite being empty buildings, data centers tend to be very noisy and very bright in a way that it doesn't make sense to me. I'll say that much. In Hill Country, Texas, they are celebrating Night Sky Month with 3 formal events in October, but plenty of other activities throughout the region and throughout the weeks. Salida, Arkansas has hosted a new dark sky education program with new free talks about lighting and light pollution. These are for adults. They also are doing specialty kids programs as well. From October 24th to October 31st is Bat Week in Wisconsin, with education events planned throughout that entire time, including raising awareness for the needs of bats vis-a-vis light pollution. Over in Ireland, the town of Castlebar is the subject of some complaints from darkness advocates. Specifically, Castlebar is at the edge of the Mayo County Dark Sky Park, and the County Council on the Environment and Climate Change Strategic Policy Committee are raising issues from the neighboring town because their lighting is probably too bright and they could fix it. And in Spain, the historic fortress town of Molina de Aragon has new uplighting, and it's really terrible. It's super bright, it's on all night, nobody really likes it, and I think they think that will keep the Moors from invading them. Can somebody tell them that the Moors have not mounted any invasions recently? I don't know what to tell you. What I can tell you is that my name is Scott Wachter, and I want to thank you for your time, your attention, and your support. That support can be direct monetary contributions to this series, or it can just be a rating, a comment, a review, a recommendation to a friend. This podcast still spread by word of mouth more than you believe. Until next time, in 2 weeks, take care of yourself.